Welcome students. So today we are going to see NCERT chapter 9, which is amines, and today is theory part 2. So today we are going to cover section 9.4. This is the disclaimer. So what is the objective of today's lecture? After attending this lecture, you will be able to understand the topics which we are going to cover today. So today we are going to describe some of the important methods of preparation of amines. Now for your reference, I have mapped the NCERT sections which we are going to cover today. So today we are going to cover section 9.4, which is preparation of amines. For your better understanding of the concept, we are going to solve an example which is 9.1 and 9.3. Also, we are going to solve one in-text question which is question 9.3. Okay, so let's start with today's lecture. So today we are going to see the preparation of amines. So the preparation of amines involves 6 methods. One by one, we are going to discuss each of these methods. First method is reduction of nitro compounds. So this means we take a nitro group which contains nitrogen and oxygen and we reduce it usually by adding hydrogen to form an amine. Okay, if I give you an example, then nitrobenzene, it can be reduced to aniline, okay, which is a type of amine. Next is ammonolysis of alkyl halides. What happens in this method? In this method, an alkyl halide, it reacts with ammonia, replacing the halogen atom with an amino group, okay. Third one is reduction of nitriles. So here a nitrile group, which is carbon triple bonded to nitrogen, is reduced. How? By adding a hydrogen to form a primary amine. Okay, if I give you an example, then reducing ethane nitrile, it gives us ethyl amine. Okay. Fourth one is reduction of amides. So amides, they have a carbonyl group which is attached to nitrogen. So when we reduce an amide, we remove the oxygen and add the hydrogen, which results in the formation of an amine. Okay. Next one is Gabriel phthalimide synthesis. So this is a special technique which is used to prepare primary amines. Okay. It involves reacting phthalimide with an alkyl halide and then hydrolyzing the product to release the amine. So this method is especially good for making pure primary amines. And finally, we have the last one, which is Hofmann-bromamide degradation reaction. So what happens in this reaction? An amide, it reacts with bromine and a base to produce a primary amine with one fewer carbon than the original amide. Okay, one fewer carbon. So this is a useful way to shorten the carbon chains while introducing an amino group. Okay, so right now I just told you about what we are going to study in these 6 reactions. Now one by one, let us discuss all these reactions in details. First, we are starting with reduction of nitro compounds. Okay. So see how nitro compounds, they can be converted to amines. Okay. So this process is called reduction. And what happens in reduction process? We add hydrogen or remove oxygen from the molecules. So in this reduction of nitro compounds, we are going to focus on 2 main methods. One is catalytic hydrogenation and metal acid reduction. Okay. First, we are going to talk about catalytic hydrogenation. What happens in this reaction? In this method, nitro compounds, okay, you can see nitro compounds, they are reduced to amines using a catalyst. So what is the work of catalyst here? It helps us speed the reaction without getting consumed. Okay. So here we use hydrogen gas, okay, which is H2, with a metal catalyst like nickel, palladium, or platinum. So these metals, they provide a surface for the reaction to happen more efficiently. So if we look at this reaction of catalytic hydrogenation, we have a nitro compound, that is RNO2, okay? We reacted with 3 molecules of H2 gas, okay, that is hydrogen gas. In the presence of a catalyst, like we can take nickel, palladium, or platinum. What we get a primary amine, okay, and water. So if you see R over here stands for an alkyl or an aryl group. So you can see that how this NO2 group, that is this nitro group, is replaced by this amino group, which is NH2 group. Okay, so this is catalytic hydrogenation. Let us look at a specific example. It will make you more clear. Here you have nitrobenzene. Okay, you have this NO2 group. When you treat it with H2 gas in presence of a catalyst, like here you are taking palladium, then you see this NO2 group is reduced to this amino group. Okay, that is this nitrobenzene is reduced to aniline. That is this NH2 group is directly attached to this benzene ring. Okay, so this is an specific example where nitrobenzene is reduced to aniline in presence of hydrogen gas and a catalyst. Next, we are going to see second method, which is metal acid reduction. So in this process, we use a metal like tin, which is Sn, or iron, which is Fe, okay, along with hydrochloric acid, that is Sn plus HCl or iron plus HCl, to reduce nitro compounds to amines. So in this reaction, the metal donates electrons and acid provides hydrogen ions, okay, and they work together to convert NO2 to NH2 group, okay. So if you look at this specific example, here we have aromatic primary amine, okay, which is a nitroarene. Okay, this is reduced to, you can say, aromatic primary amine. Okay, you can see over here it is reduced. This NO2 group is reduced to this amino group. So this is reduced to aromatic primary amine using tin or iron, that is Sn or Fe, along with HCl. Okay, so metal donates the electrons over here and acid provides hydrogen ions, and they work together to convert this NO2 group into NH2 group. Okay, now we are going to talk about the industrial preference for this reaction. So in industry, the nitro compounds, they are typically reduced to amines using iron scrap and hydrochloric acid. Okay, using what? Iron scrap and hydrochloric acid. So this combination is cost effective and efficient, which makes it the method of choice for large scale production. So if you look at this reaction, here you have iron. When iron reacts with hydrochloric acid to produce iron 2 chloride, that is FeCl2 and H2 gas. Okay, so see how this reaction generates the hydrogen which is needed for the reduction process. So if you see over here, we have this NO2 group, which is how the nitro compound is actually reduced. Okay, so we have this RNO2, okay, plus 3H2 in presence of iron and hydrochloric acid. It gives RNH2, which is a primary amine, and water. Okay, so here this is a nitro compound, and here this is a primary amine. Okay, so this shows us that this hydrogen gas, which is produced in this reaction, okay, which is produced in this previous reaction, it is used to convert this nitro group into an amine group. Okay, so this is industrial preference. Let us look at an example. Here you have NO2 group, that is nitrobenzene. Okay, so here you will see reduction of NO2 group into an NH2 group, okay, using SN plus HCl or Fe plus HCl. Okay, so here you will see that this NO2 group is being reduced to NH2 group. So one important reason that this method is preferred industrially is that only a small amount of hydrochloric acid is needed at the start. Okay, as the reaction proceeds, more hydrochloric acid is generated. So you don't need to keep adding the acid. As a result, this makes the process more efficient as well as cost effective. Okay. Now, as FeCl2 formed, it gets hydrolyzed to release HCl acid during the reaction. So, if you look at this reaction, you will see FeCl2 solid, okay, plus water. It reversibly forms FeOH2 whole twice, which is a solid, plus 2 HCl. Okay, so this means as the reaction continues, hydrochloric acid is being regenerated. So this is keeping the process going efficiently. Okay, so this, you can say, a clever method of recycling of reagents is the key reason for the industrial preference of this method. Okay, I hope it is clear now. Now we are moving to next method, which is ammonolysis of alkyl halides. Okay, so if I talk about ammonolysis, what do you mean by ammonolysis? So ammonolysis is simply means breaking a bond using ammonia. Okay, so we are going to see how an alkyl halide reacts with ammonia to eventually form a primary amine. First, look at the nucleophilic substitution reaction or nucleophilic substitution step over here. So here ammonia, which is NH3, it acts as a nucleophile, which means it donates a pair of electrons. Okay. So in an ethanolic solution, which is at 373 Kelvin, the ammonia, it attacks the alkyl halide, okay, which is represented as Rx, where you can see R is an alkyl group and X is an halogen. So this reaction forms a substituted ammonium salt. Okay. So you will see here that how ammonia replaces the halogen atom in an alkyl halide. Now look at this reaction. So over, as I told you, ammonia acts as a nucleophile. So if it is acting as a nucleophile, what will it do? It will donate a pair of electrons. Now ammonia will attack this alkyl halide, okay, and it will replace this halogen from here, okay, and it will form a substituted ammonium salt, which is R NH3 plus and this X minus. Okay, so ammonia has replaced this X or halide from this alkyl halide and formed a substituted ammonium salt. Okay, so if you look at the specific reaction, here you have NH3, which is ammonia. It reacts with methyl chloride, which is an alkyl halide. Okay, so ammonia attacks the carbon, okay, which is attached to this chlorine. So this forms a substituted ammonium salt. Okay, so here you will see that this NH3, it has replaced this chlorine from this methyl chloride and it has formed a substituted ammonium salt, that is CH3, NH3 plus and Cl minus. Okay. Now next step, what happens? The substituted ammonium salt, which is this substituted ammonium salt, it reacts with a strong base such as sodium hydroxide or excess ammonia. Okay, this process is called deprotonation, which means we are removing a hydrogen ion from the ammonium salt. Okay, and what happens? This results in the liberation of the free amine, which is a desired product. So if you see over here, the substituted ammonium salt, it reacts with a strong base like sodium hydroxide, or it can also react with excess ammonia. Okay, and here deprotonation is happening and we are getting a primary amine. Okay, so that means we are removing a hydrogen from this ammonium salt. Okay, and the result is the liberation of this free primary amine, which is a desired product, and we get water and sodium halide as a byproduct. Okay, so this is what is happening in this reaction. Now here is the main disadvantage of ammonolysis. Okay, the disadvantage is that it produces a mixture of product. This means instead of getting only one type of amine, we end up with several different amines. So what happens? This can make it harder to isolate the specific compound which we want. So if you see the sequence of reactions, we have a primary amine. Okay, when this primary amine reacts with an alkyl halide, it gives us a secondary amine. Okay, and when this secondary amine reacts with another alkyl halide, it gives us a tertiary amine. And finally, this tertiary amine reacts with another molecule of alkyl halide and it gives us a quaternary ammonium salt. So you can see that each step adds another alkyl group. Here we have only one alkyl group. Here 2, here 3 and here 4. So each step is adding another alkyl group. So we get a mixture of products. Okay. Unless we are not controlling the reaction conditions, we will get such mixture of products. So this is the main disadvantage of ammonolysis. So to get mostly primary amine, we use large excess of ammonia. Okay, so this way ammonia is more likely to react with alkyl halide than the amines that are forming. So by adjusting the amount of ammonia, we can influence at which product is formed in greater quantity. Okay, and if you're talking about the reactivity of alkyl halides, the order is first alkyl iodides. They react fastest, which is followed by alkyl bromides, and last we have alkyl fluorides. Okay, this is because the bond between the carbon and iodine is weakest because the size of iodine is quite large. So the bond between this carbon and iodine is weak, and if this bond is weak, it breaks most easily, making Ri most reactive in ammonolysis. Okay. Now we are going to solve a question. In this question, which is example 9.1, you have to write the chemical equations for the following reactions. First is reaction of ethanolic NH3 with C2H5Cl. Second is ammonolysis of benzyl chloride and reaction of amines so formed with 2 moles of CH3Cl. So right now only we discussed these reactions. Now if you look carefully, here we have 2 questions, okay? In first one we have ethanolic ammonia NH3 with ethyl chloride. Second we have ammonolysis of benzoyl chloride, which is followed by its reaction with methyl chloride. So let us start with the reaction. So this is a nucleophilic substitution reaction where the chlorine atom is replaced by a nitrogen atom from ammonia. Okay, I'm repeating, chlorine atom is replaced by the nitrogen atom from ammonia. Okay. So if you see over here, this is a nucleophilic substitution reaction where we have chloroethane. When this chloroethane is reacted with ammonia, it forms what? Ethane amine. Okay, that is this chlorine is replaced by this NH2. Okay, so chlorine is replaced by the nitrogen atom from ammonia to form ethane amine. Now, but the reaction doesn't stops here. This is the primary amine because nitrogen is bonded to 2 hydrogen and 1 carbon. So the primary amine which is formed, which is ethane amine, it can further react with more ethyl chloride to form secondary and tertiary amines. Okay, so if the reaction continues, it can eventually lead to the formation of a quaternary ammonium salt, where the nitrogen atom will be bonded to 4 ethyl groups. Okay, so you will see first ethane amine, it reacts with another molecule of ethyl chloride, that is C2H5Cl. Okay, and it forms N-ethylene amine. Okay, which is a secondary amine because this nitrogen is bonded to 1 hydrogen and 2 carbon atoms. So this means the nitrogen over here is now bonded to 2 ethyl groups and 1 hydrogen. Okay, and if we keep on adding this ethyl chloride, this secondary amine will be converted into a tertiary amine, which is NN-diethyl ethanamine. Okay, so you will see over here this nitrogen is bonded to 3 ethyl groups. Okay, and finally if we add one more ethyl chloride, we get a quaternary ammonium salt, where this nitrogen will be bonded to 4 ethyl groups, which carries a positive charge and which is balanced by a negative chloride ion. Okay, now we will see the second reaction. So this is also a nucleophilic substitution reaction, where the chlorine atom in benzyl chloride, it will be replaced by the nitrogen atom from ammonia. Okay, so you have to notice that the lone pairs on nitrogen, it attacks the carbon which is attached to chlorine, which leads to the formation of benzyl amine. Okay, so if we look at this particular reaction, first we have benzoyl chloride. It reacts with ammonia to form benzyl amine. Okay, then benzyl amine reacts with 2 moles of methyl chloride, that is CH3Cl, to form NN-dimethyl phenyl methanamine. Okay, and 2 moles of hydrochloric acid. So this shows how the primary amine, this is the primary amine over here, can be converted stepwise into secondary and tertiary amines by further alkylation. Okay, so each substitution replaces a hydrogen or nitrogen with a methyl group. So finally you will see over here this nitrogen atom is bonded to 3 over here it is bonded to 2 this methyl groups and 1 is this group over here. Okay, now we are going to discuss the third one, which is reduction of nitriles. We are going to talk about catalytic hydrogenation. So this process uses hydrogen gas along with a metal catalyst like nickel or palladium to reduce the nitrile group. Okay, so this catalyst helps the hydrogen atoms add to the molecule, turning the nitrile into an amine. So if you see, we have ethane nitrile. This is C carbon triple bonded to nitrogen. Okay, when we are using hydrogen gas along with metal catalyst like nickel or palladium, it reduces this nitrile group. Okay, so see, it is now CH3CH2NH2, which is ethane amine. Okay, so this catalyst over here, this nickel, it adds the hydrogen atoms to the molecules, turning this nitrile into an amine. Okay, the way to reduce nitriles is by using a strong reducing agent. Strong reducing agent like lithium aluminium hydride, LiLH4. So this reagent is quite powerful and it reduces the nitrile group to an amine even without a catalyst. It is so much strong. So if you see over here in this reaction, we have ethane nitrile, which is carbon triple bonded to nitrogen. Okay. When it is reacted with LiLH4, okay, then you will see it will give ethane amine. So again, ethane nitrile is converted to ethane amine. Okay. And here we have used LiLH4 that provides the hydrogen which is needed to break the triple bond and form an amine. Okay. Next, we are going to look at Mendius reaction. So this reaction uses sodium amalgam, which is sodium dissolved in mercury, along with ethanol as a solvent. Okay. So this is sodium amalgam along with ethanol as a solvent. So this is another way to reduce nitriles to amines. Okay. You need to remember the name. This is Mendius. Mendius reaction over here. So if you look at this reaction, we have ethane nitrile, carbon triple bonded to nitrogen, plus 4 hydrogens with sodium in ethanol. It gives us ethane amine. So here the sodium amalgam and ethanol, they supply the hydrogen which is needed for this reduction. Okay, so here from nitrile, this nitrile is reduced to this amine, that is ethane amine. Okay. So this method is especially useful in laboratory settings. So one important use of this reaction is for the ascent of amine series. Okay. This means we can prepare amines that have one more carbon atom than the starting material. So it is useful technique for building larger molecules step by step. Okay. So to summarize, I can say by reducing nitriles, we can prepare amines with an extra carbon atom compared to the starting compound. Okay. So this especially when we want to increase the length of the carbon chain. Okay. Now we're going to talk about fourth one, which is reduction of amides. Okay. So reduction is a process where a compound gains hydrogen or loses oxygen. So here you will see how amides can be converted into amines. So here we use lithium aluminum hydride LiLH4 to reduce an amide to amine. Notice that the number of carbon atoms stays the same during the reaction. Okay, so LiLH4 is a strong reducing agent. Okay, and number of carbon atoms stays the same. So if you see over here, we have ethane amide. Okay, when it is reduced by LiLH4, which is followed by water, it forms ethane amine. Okay, which is CH3, CH2, So if you'll see, the carbon skeleton over here remains unchanged. But this amide group, which is C double bond to NH2 group, is reduced to an amine group, CH2NH2 group. Okay, so it shows how the reduction can change the functional group, but keeping intact the rest of the molecule. Okay. Now we have fifth one, which is Gabriel phthalimide synthesis. So it is a method which is used to prepare primary amines. Okay. So first we will see the deprotonation of phthalimide. So when phthalimide reacts with ethanolic potassium hydroxide, it loses a hydrogen ion and forms potassium phthalimide, which is a salt. Okay. So this step is crucial because it creates a negatively charged nitrogen atom, which makes it a strong nucleophile which is ready for the next reaction. So here you can see we have phthalimide. Okay, when it reacts with potassium hydroxide, which is KOH, it forms potassium salt of phthalimide. Okay, and we see over here this nitrogen has a negative charge. Next is the nucleophilic substitution, which is also known as SN2 reaction. So in this step, this phthalimide anion attacks the alkyl halide. Here nitrogen has a negative charge. Now this phthalimide anion attacks the alkyl halide and replaces the halide ion and forms an alkyl phthalimide. Okay, so this is a one-step process where the nucleophile and alkyl halide collide and the leaving group departs at the same time. Okay, so you can see over here, this is potassium salt of phthalimide. Okay, when it reacts with Rx, which is alkyl halide, you will see it forms an alkyl phthalimide. Okay, so see how the nitrogen from this phthalimide, it attacks this carbon which is attached to this halide. Okay, and the halide leaves as a separate ion, and this results in the formation of an alkyl phthalimide. Okay, which will be eventually converted to a primary amine. Now next is the hydrolysis step. So here an alkyl phthalimide reacts with aqueous NaOH, sodium hydroxide. So this reaction produces primary amine, okay, and phthalic acid, which forms as a salt. So look at this reaction. We have an alkyl phthalimide. It is hydrolyzed with NaOH and we get primary amine, which is RNH2, and we get a sodium salt of phthalic acid. Okay, so this is a primary amine because nitrogen is bonded to 2 hydrogen and 1 carbon. So we finally get a primary amine. Now it is important to note a limitation of this method, that is Gabriel phthalimide synthesis. It cannot be used to prepare aromatic primary amines. Okay, it cannot prepare aromatic primary amines. Okay, this means we can't use it to make amines where a nitrogen is attached directly to an aromatic ring like a benzene. The reason for this limitation is that aryl halides, which are needed to make the aromatic amines, they do not undergo nucleophilic substitution reactions easily. Okay, in other words, I can say the reaction doesn't work because the aromatic rings make it difficult for the nucleophile to attack and replace the halide, okay, which is needed for this reaction. So if you see over here, we have this potassium phthalimide. It cannot be used to prepare aromatic primary amines, okay. This means we cannot use it to make amines where the nitrogen, okay, which is attached to an aromatic ring like benzene. So you will see here when this potassium phthalimide reacts with an ARX, okay, then you will see which is an aromatic primary amine. This will give no reaction. Why? Because aryl halides do not undergo nucleophilic substitution. Okay. So we can say that Gabriel phthalimide is the best method for preparing primary amines when we want to keep the number of carbon, when we want to keep the carbon number unchanged. Okay, so it is efficient for aliphatic amines, but not for the aromatic ones. Okay, so you have to remember both the advantage as well as the limitations. Now, sixth one, we have Hofmann bromamide degradation. So this is a process where an amide is converted into an amine. Okay, the key thing to remember is that the reaction reduces the number of carbon atoms in the molecule by 1. Okay, let us see the reaction. So here the reaction uses bromine in an aqueous or ethanolic solution of sodium hydroxide. Okay, so this combination is essential for the reaction to proceed. Now the main result of this reaction is the formation of a primary amine that has 1 carbon atom less than the original amide. Okay, for example, if we start with a 3 carbon amide, we will end up with a 2 carbon amine. Okay, so this is useful way to shorten the carbon chain. If you look at this overall reaction, we have propane amide, Okay, propane amide over here, which is CH3, CH2, C double bond O, NH2. Okay, when it reacts with bromine and sodium hydroxide, it produces ethane amine and sodium carbonate, sodium bromide, and water. Okay, so see the product which is ethane amine. If you'll see, this ethane amine has one less carbon than the starting propane amide. Propane amide 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon atoms. But this ethane amine has 1 and 2, only 2 carbon atoms. So ethane amine has 1 carbon less than the starting propane amide. Okay, so this demonstrates that the carbon is lost in Hofmann degradation. Okay, so if you see over here, for this reaction, we have a primary amide, which is RCONH2. When it reacts with bromine and sodium hydroxide, it gives us a primary amine. Okay, and sodium carbonate, Na2CO3, sodium bromide, and H2O. Okay, so if you'll see, the carbonyl, which is C double bond O, is lost, which results in a shorter carbon chain in the amine product. Now let us discuss the mechanism. First, the key step in this mechanism is the migration of an alkyl or aryl group from the carbonyl carbon to the nitrogen atom. Okay, this means that the group which is attached to the carbonyl carbon moves over to the nitrogen, okay, which is a unique feature of this reaction. So this migration is what leads to the loss of one carbon atom from the molecule. Now, during this reaction, an important intermediate is formed, which is called isocyanide, which is Rn double bond C double bond O. So this intermediate is unstable and it quickly reacts further to produce the final amine product. So if you look at this reaction step by step, okay, you will see over here that in this reaction there is migration of an alkyl or aryl group. You will see over here this R group, which is, if you see over here in this reaction, this is this R group which is attached to this carbon, which is double bonded to nitrogen, and we have bromine attached to this nitrogen. Okay, now you will see that there is migration of this R group from this carbonyl carbon to the nitrogen atom. So you will see over here, this R group is now attached to this nitrogen. Okay, so this means the group which is attached to the carbonyl carbon, it now moves to this nitrogen. Okay, and this migration leads to the loss of one carbon atom from the molecule. And this forms an important intermediate which is called isocyanide, where there is R, N, double bond C, double bond O. This is an isocyanide intermediate. Okay, so the formation of isocyanide, I can say it is a hallmark for this Hofmann bromamide degradation. Okay, and now further you will see that OH minus, it attacks the carbon of N double bond C double bond O, and the electrons from the C double bond O shift to oxygen, which gives us like this tetrahedral intermediate that after proton becomes carbamic acid. Okay, which is this RNH C double bond OH. Okay, and this carbamic acid then decomposes this COOH portion and it leaves as CO2, and the leftover one is the primary amine, which is RNH2. Okay, now we are going to solve example 9.2. So you have to write the chemical equations for the following reactions. First, CH3CH2Cl into CH3CH2CH2NH2. Okay, and next is C6H5CH2Cl into C6H5CH2CH2NH2. Okay, so first we will see the conversion of chloroethane. This is chloroethane, CH3CH2Cl. Conversion of chloroethane into propane amine, which is CH3CH2CH2NH2. Okay, so if you see chloroethane, it is an ethane molecule with a chlorine atom attached. our main goal over here is to replace this chlorine atom with the amine group. Okay, but notice over here, one important thing which you need to notice is that propane amine has one more carbon than the starting material. Starting we have only 2 carbons. Here we have 3 carbons. So you can notice here we have more than 1 carbon. So this means we need to add a carbon atom during the process. Okay. So if you see over here chloroethane, when we treat it with ethanolic NaCN, okay, then you get propane nitrile. Okay, and when you further treat it with LiLH4 in presence of ether, it reduces to propane 1 amine. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3. So, and first carbon NH2 group is attached and NaCl is released. We will discuss step by step. Okay. In second step, what is happening? In second one, there is conversion of benzyl chloride to 2-phenyl amine. Okay. So over here, benzyl chloride is a benzene ring which is attached to a CH2 group, okay, which is turned attached to this chlorine atom. So our target is to get 2-phenyl amine, which also has an extra CH2 group and NH2 group at end. That means again we need to add a carbon atom, okay. So if you see over here, we have benzoyl chloride. When you treat it with ethanolic sodium cyanide, it forms benzyl cyanide, okay, where this chlorine atom over here is replaced by this C triple bond N, a cyanide group. And then we reduce this nitrile using hydrogen gas in presence of a catalyst like Ni, and it gives 2-phenyl amine, okay, and we get NaCl as a byproduct. Now, the above 2 reactions happened in 2 steps. First one is nucleophilic substitution of Cl minus by Cl. So, this is a nucleophilic substitution where the cyanide, which is this Cn minus, it replaces a chloride ion. Okay, in both it is happening. This Cn minus replaces this chloride ion on the carbon chain. Okay, so this step is important because it not only removes the halogen, but it is also adding an extra carbon atom. Okay, so if you'll see, it is also adding extra carbon. Next, we reduce the nitrile group, which is carbon triple bonded to nitrogen, to a primary amine. Okay, here we have reduced to primary amine. So this reduction can be done using reagents like LiLH4 or hydrogen with a nickel catalyst. Okay, see, this LiLH4 is a very good reducing agent. It doesn't require any catalyst. So the result is a primary amine. Okay, so remember, this is a 2-step process which is used to make amines with a longer carbon chain from the simple halides. Okay, if you see, this benzoyl chloride and this 2-phenylethanamine. This 2-phenylethanamine has 1 carbon more than the starting benzoyl chloride. Okay. Now we are going to see example 9.3. You have to write the structures and the IUPAC name of the amide which gives propane amine by Hofmann bromide reaction, and the amine product by Hofmann degradation of benzoamide. Okay, so we are going to start with propane amine, which is an amine that contains 3 carbon atoms. Okay, so it is important over here that you identify the number of carbons because Hofmann bromide reaction removes 1 carbon atom from the amide to form amine. Okay, since the reaction removes 1 carbon, the original amide must have 4 carbon atoms. Okay, as I told you, in final product, it removes 1 carbon atom. So what can you guess from this? That the original amide must have 4 carbon atoms. Okay, so this is a key point. Always count the carbons to predict the starting material in these reactions. Okay, students? So if we look at the structure of the required amide, Here you can see the structure of amide, which is butane amide. Okay, notice this functional group, which is this amide group, C double bond to NH2. Okay, and you will see this has one carbon atom more than propane amine. Propane has 3 carbon atoms, but this butane amide has 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms. So the complete reaction is that if you'll see butane amide, okay, it reacts with sodium hydroxide and Br2 to form propane amine. Okay, so the key transformation is the removal of this carbonyl carbon, which is resulting in the formation of amine with 1 carbon atom less. Okay, so if I give you a general pattern, then amide, okay, which has n carbons, it lead to amine which has n minus 1 carbon. Okay, so remember this. So if I talk about the IUPAC name of the amide, it has 4 carbon atoms. So the IUPAC name of the amide containing 4 carbon atom is butane amide. Okay. Now we are going to see benzoamide, which is an aromatic amide, which means a benzene ring is attached to a amide group. Okay. Importantly, it contains a total of 7 carbon atoms. Now let us see what happens during this Hofmann degradation of benzamide. In this reaction, the amide, it loses 1 carbon atom. So the resulting amine will have 6 carbon atoms and will still be aromatic. Okay, this means that the product is a primary aromatic amine. If we look at the structure, then here you will see we have aniline. Okay, that this NH2 group is directly attached to this benzene ring. Okay, so this amine, which is formed from benzoamide, it has 6 carbon atoms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So if we look at the complete reaction, then in Hofmann bromamide reaction, benzoamide, it will react with sodium hydroxide and bromine to form aniline. Okay. So see over here, benzoamide reacts with sodium hydroxide, bromine to give you an aniline. Okay. So see how this amide group is lost during the reaction and it forms NH2 group. Okay. And if you'll see, it has 1 carbon atom less. Initially, it was having 7 carbon atoms. And here it is only having 6 carbon atoms. Okay. So the IUPAC name of the amine formed from benzamide is either aniline or benzene amine. Okay. I told you, you will replace the E with an amine. Okay. So this is either called aniline or benzene amine. Now we are going to solve in text question 9.3. How will you convert benzene to aniline, benzene into N dimethyl aniline, and ClCH2 4 times Cl into hexane 1,6 diamine? Okay, let us see the reaction. First is the conversion of benzene into aniline. So aniline we have is a primary amine. Okay, that means the NH2 group is attached to a benzene ring. Okay. So step 1 is the aromatic electrophilic substitution. What we do here, we replace a hydrogen atom on the benzene ring with the nitro group, NO2 group. Okay, and this is done using nitronium ion. This nitronium ion which acts as an electrophile. So here you will see, okay, that nitronium ion, we mix, how to generate this nitronium ion? We mix concentrated sulfuric acid and nitric acid. And it produces nitronium ion along with HSO4 minus and water. Okay, so this nitronium ion is what actually attaches to the benzene ring in the nitration step. Okay, in step 2, after introducing the nitro group, we will see the next step is reduction. So we reduce the NO2 group to an amino group, which is NH2 and which gives us a aniline. Okay, so if you'll see over here, we have a benzene. Okay, when you treat it with HNO3 in presence of H2SO4, this is a nitration step, which is an aromatic electrophilic substitution, and we see a NO2 groups get attached to this benzene ring. So we get a nitrobenzene. Okay, and then next step is reduction of this nitro group. Then this NO2 group is reduced to a primary amine using hydrogen gas in presence of a catalyst. Here we have used palladium. Okay, so this nitro group is, you will see reduction of this nitro group into a NH2 group, and this is a primary amine, which is aniline. So we have seen the conversion of benzene into an aniline. Now we see the next one, which is conversion of benzene into N-dimethyl-aniline. So over here you have see the reaction pathway. One by one we will discuss it. Okay. First step is an aromatic electrophilic substitution, where a hydrogen atom is replaced by a nitronium ion. Okay. So if you'll see over here, one hydrogen from this benzene is replaced by a nitronium ion, NO2+. So this is a very common way to introduce a nitro group into an aromatic ring. Okay, so this is an electrophilic substitution, which means an electron-rich benzene, it attacks electron-rich benzene ring, it reacts with the electron-poor species. Okay, so this is a nitration step. Step 2 is we reduce this NO2 group to form a primary amine. Okay, so in case of reduction, what we do, we add hydrogen or remove oxygen. Okay, so this is, we use a catalyst like H2 hydrogen gas in presence of palladium, and we reduce this NO2 group into primary amine. Next step is nucleophilic substitution, where a chlorine atom is replaced by the nitrogen from the aniline. Okay, so you will see over here that this nitrogen on this aniline, it replaces this chlorine atom from this CH3Cl. Okay, so you will see over here we get N-methyl-aniline, that is, to this nitrogen, one hydrogen and one CH3 group is attached. Okay, and it forms a secondary aniline. Secondary aniline because this nitrogen is connected to one hydrogen and two carbons. And step 4 is another nucleophilic substitution, which converts this secondary amine into an tertiary amine. Okay, so you will see that each substitution, it adds another alkyl group on the nitrogen. So here you will see it is N-dimethyl-aniline. This nitrogen is connected to 3 carbon atoms. So this is a tertiary amine. Okay. Now next is conversion of 1,4 dichlorobutane into hexane 1,6 diamine. Okay. So this is the reaction which is happening. One by one we will discuss. First is the nucleophilic substitution to replace a chlorine atom with a cyanide group. First you will see that this chlorine atom is replaced by these cyanide groups. Okay, so this is important because the cyanide group, which is the C triple bond N, it will be converted later into an amine group. Okay, so this is a nucleophilic substitution, which means a nucleophile like this cyanide, it attacks the carbon which is attached to this chlorine and replaces it. And in step 2, we reduce these nitrile, which is C triple bond N, to get a primary amine. Okay, so here how we are doing reduction, we are adding hydrogen to convert the triple bonds in the nitrile to a single bond in amine. Okay, so this gives us a desired product, which is hexane 1,6 diamine. Okay, is it clear? Okay, so let's summarize whatever we have studied in today's lecture. We talked about the preparation of amines. First, we talk about the reduction of nitro compounds. That means this NO2 group can be reduced to an amine group. This is done by using hydrogen gas with a metal catalyst like nickel, palladium or platinum or by using tin and hydrochloric acid. Okay. Next is a monolysis of alkyl halide. Here, alkyl halide with the carbon chain with a halogen atom like chlorine or I can say bromine. It reacts with ammonia and the halogen is replaced by this amine group, forming a primary amine and sometimes secondary or tertiary amines as well. Okay. Next, we talk about the reduction of nitriles. In this process, a nitrile group, which is C triple bond N, which has a carbon triple bonded to nitrogen, is reduced to primary amine. And this can be done by using hydrogen gas with a nickel catalyst or using sodium in ethanol. Okay. Notice one thing, that the carbon chain gets one extra carbon, okay, compared to the starting material. Next, we have reduction of amides. So in this reaction, the amide group, which is the structure RCuNH2, is reduced using lithium aluminum hydride, okay, which is LiLH4 followed by water. So this process converts amide into a primary amine. So the C double bond O group is removed and a methylene, which is CH2 group, is added in its place. Next is Gabriel phthalimide synthesis. This is used to make primary amines, which means the amine group is attached only to one carbon. Okay, so we start with thalliumide. It reacts with potassium hydroxide to give you phthalimide salt, and then it reacts with an alkyl halide to give an alkyl phthalimide. Okay, and finally we do its treatment with sodium hydroxide and water, and it gives us a primary amine. Next, we have Hofmann bromamide degradation. So in this reaction, amide reacts with bromine and sodium hydroxide to produce a primary amine, sodium carbonate, sodium bromide, and water. Okay, so the carbonyl is lost as carbonate and the amine is directly attached to this R group. So if you have to shorten the carbon chain, then we use this Hofmann bromamide degradation. Okay. Okay, students, this was it for this lecture. Thank you for your attention. I hope this lesson was helpful. Thank you.